Hi everyone, welcome to Silva's Cooking. Cowboy butter is a flavorful butter dipping sauce, and when you roast the chicken, corn, and potatoes with it, you get an awesome tasty meal. So let's take a ride in Flavor Town today. Here I have my medium-sized saucepan on low heat, and I'm going to make a lot of cowboy butter because I'm going to use for the chicken to roast it with and also for dipping later. So I'm using 1.5 sticks of salted butter, and I'm going to let it melt on low heat. I have a small herb garden, so I have chives, I have thyme, sage. Here's some basil that I'm growing from seeds. I don't like basil, but my husband does, so I planted it for him. And here is some oregano. I'm going to need chives for today's recipe and thyme. So I'm going to cut up a little bit. I know it's tiny and all. It's got to be used, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it. A little bit more of that. There we go. The butter has melted. I'm going to turn the heat off now. I'm going to add the juice of half a lemon, but you may also use a lime. That's good. A little zest of the lemon, about half a teaspoon of it, and that's good. 1 to 4 garlic cloves, depending on how garlicky you want your cowboy butter to be. I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, a little bit of crushed red pepper. Very little, because this is going to make it so spicy you're not going to be able to eat it, unless you really like spicy foods. 1 teaspoon of paprika, and just a couple little sprinkles of cayenne, because again, this is spicy. And 3 drops of Louisiana hot sauce. This is optional. You can put in as much as you want. And last but not least, the chives. 1 tablespoon of chives and 1 tablespoon of thyme leaves. I love thyme. It goes so well with chicken. Stir it well to combine. And look how beautiful this is already. I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of garlic salt because I tasted it, and even though I used salted butter, it wasn't salty enough for me. So adjust the salt to your liking, whether by adding salt or adding a seasoning that contains salt. Here I have a 3 3/4 pound chicken. I already rinsed this chicken. I dried it completely, and I'm going to add cowboy butter to the cavity. And I'm going to rub it in there. I'm going to add some more thyme to it. Stuff it with some fresh thyme. I'm going to add some lemon slices and some yellow onion too that I cut into quarters. This is going to be awesome. You got to flavor that, you know. Can't miss the opportunity. I'm going to season the rest of the chicken with cowboy butter, and I'm going to rub it all over. Let it get super flavorful. I'm also going to rub some inside the skin. So I'm going to open up a little area in there in the breast because I want to season under the skin as well. You can't just season the skin. You gotta season the meat. I'm using half of the cowboy butter on this chicken. Rub all over the breast, the wing, the back. And by the way, I reserved some for later, for dipping. So make sure you reserve some before you start seasoning everything. Now I'm going to truss the legs. Put the string underneath. Put them together like this. Underneath, back up, in a knot. It goes. 2 knots. I'm going to cut the excess. Cover it and refrigerate it overnight for best results. Remove it from the fridge 1 hour before baking it. I'm going to use 2 ears of corn for this recipe, and I'm going to cut into quarters. A couple of sweet potatoes that I'm going to cut into chunky pieces. I also have 2 russet potatoes that I'm going to cut into chunky pieces as well. And I'm also going to slice 2 large yellow onions into chunky pieces. Here I have a turkey roasting pan. I have a lot of food to roast, so I'm going to first add the onions and distribute it all over the pan. Now I'm going to add the russet potatoes to it. The sweet potatoes. Ooh, this is going to be so good. If you want to peel the russet potatoes, go for it. That's okay. Just left it there to add a little more interest to it. And last but not least, the corn. I'm going to keep the corn out like this on the edges a little bit. It's beautiful already. I am also going to add a little bit of thyme here and there, like this. I have a couple of lemon slices left over, so I'm just going to add that to it, just for fun. I'm going to season the vegetables with the remaining cowboy butter I had in the pan, but remember, I reserved some for later, for dipping also. You can make more cowboy butter for dipping if you wish. The more the merrier. And there you go. And it's time to put the chicken on the vegetables now. Tuck the wing tips under the chicken. Not only looks better, but also cooks better that way. It won't burn it. The other one. I'm going to sprinkle a little fine salt all over the top of the chicken and the vegetables, like that. And also, I'm going to put a little freshly ground black pepper on everybody. A little extra flavor, doesn't hurt anything. I dissolved 1 large chicken bouillon in 2 cups of warm water. Put all over the vegetables. But you may also use 2 cups of chicken broth or 2 cups of chicken stock, salted or unsalted. And my chicken is ready to go into the oven. A safe temperature for chicken is 165 degrees in the thickest part of the chicken, which is the breast meat right here. But I'm not going to use a thermometer because I know that at this temperature and this amount of time, my chicken and vegetables will be thoroughly cooked. Roasted for 2 hours at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so I put the chicken on a platter, and these are all the vegetables that I'm going to arrange on the platter as well. After the first 45 minutes, I rotated the roasting pan 180 degrees, rotated halfway, and then after about 30 minutes, I put the legs of the chicken towards the end of the oven. And then after 30 more minutes, I put the breast part towards the back of the oven, so it would cook more evenly. I put the corn on a platter, remove the string, there you go. I love sweet potatoes, especially with roasted chicken. Look at that lemon, disintegrated in there. The house smells so good. And it's funny because of all the ingredients, the onions are the ones that smell the most while the chicken roasts with all of this. A little cowboy butter on the chicken. A little extra doesn't hurt anything, does it? After all, it is a dipping sauce. I'm going to put a little bit of the juices from the chicken and the vegetables on the vegetables as well, because the juice is really tasty. Have it all mixed together. I am going to cut a little bit of the breast and show you how succulent this is, how wonderful this is. Look at this, well done, well cooked. Look how juicy and tender. Juice is running clear, that's what you want to see. Falling apart tender. I'm going to cut the leg. I'm gonna get a little corn, a little sweet potato. It is absolutely delicious. A little russet potatoes right here with that juice. That juice is wonderful. Try a little of the sweet potato. Delicious, everyone. Look at that. Yum. I'm going to show you how, look at that, how tender this breast is. Look at that. Probably doesn't even need a knife to be cut with. Look at that. I hope you like my recipe. Thank you for watching.